Minnesota Vikings having to make the hard decisions in the next few weeks on who they're going to keep and who they're going to be setting their sights on in free agency. One has to wonder, what the heck are we going to do at cornerback? Let's get it. In yesterday's video, I took it upon myself to be GM of the Minnesota Vikings and do my best to get us underneath the cap and in a position to get some decent players and restock and ready for the next season. If you missed that video yesterday, I'll be sure to leave a link in the description below. With Ed Donatell being officially announced as a defensive coordinator, there's a lot of changes that are going to be happening. Specifically, we're expected to be switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4 defense. Of course, most of the time there's a nickel or dime sub package that we're going to mostly be playing in, but when talking base, it's going to be some sort of a 3-4 defense. So in a 3-4 defense, who are going to be our players? If you're looking at the screen right now, there could be as many as 7 to 8 new faces on our defense coming in this upcoming season. I mean, we don't know if Danielle Hunter's going to be there. We don't know, who's going to be sitting there next to Eric Kendricks. Will Harrison Smith be back? We don't have a number 1 corner. Will Cameron Dantzler be a number 2? There's just many questions that are going to be happening over the next few weeks. So today we're going to focus on what are the Vikings going to do at corner. Could we take a corner with the 12th pick overall? Well, it hasn't worked out so well the last 3 times we've chosen a corner in the first round. And we had a supposed defensive back guru coaching up our defensive backs. And all 3 first-round corners are gone off the team within 6 years. So we're going to be looking at PFF's top 10 corners expected to hit free agency. Now, this, of course, is really early. Nobody's really started re-signing players, so there could be re-signings, there could be franchise tags, there could be trades. All this, you can take this with a grain of salt. So I figured we could focus on who's out there for the Vikings to grab when free agency starts, if we can get our cap room down to that $40 million-ish range. So PFF's number 1 cornerback is J.C. Jackson. He had a 2021 PFF grade of 78.9. That ranked him 7th out of 122 corners. I mean, what is there to say about what is there that hasn't already been said about J.C. Jackson? I mean, the guy's freaking phenomenal, and I'm sure he's not going to be available. And if he is available, then we're probably not going to be able to afford him. But the Vikings have never shied away from making the free agent splash that we all need. I know Kevin O'Connell said that they were looking to cause a heck of a lot more turnovers. Obviously, that has to do with coaching and coaching aggressiveness. And, JC was 2nd in interceptions this year with 8. I mean, again, the guy is just phenomenal. And he's young. He's in his prime. I don't see why New England could possibly let this guy go. There's just there's no way that he's going to be available. So he's most likely going to get franchise tagged if he can't come to an agreement with New England. But if there was a chance that the Vikings could get him, that'd be ridiculous. Again, projected contracts around 4 years, $72 million. That's about that's about $18 million per year. And again, I can't say enough about it. Would be an absolute ridiculous. We'd be partying if we got J.C. Jackson, and it hasn't been unheard of. I mean, we have gone out and made splash free agent acquisitions, so I just don't see it happening unless we make even more drastic changes than I made in the video that I made yesterday. So, yeah, it's probably a pipe dream, but hey, it's still a dream, right? So let's move on down to PFF's 2nd-ranked cornerback. All right, PFF's number 2 ranked cornerback is Stefan Gilmore. His PFF grade for 2021 was 77.1. That was 11th out of 122 corners. He's a 30-year-old corner. I do not see the Vikings wanting to bridge a corner unless they're going to go with Patrick Peterson again. The Vikings aren't going to want to go with a 30-year-old corner at $14 million a year. So that's just probably not going to happen. We can go ahead and skip down past Stefan Gilmore. The 3rd-ranked corner for PFF is Carlton Davis. Personally, one of my favorites that might be available. His 2021 PFF grade was 69.9. That put him 30th out of 122 corners. I love how scrappy he is versus the number 1 receivers. He seems to hold his own, even though he's a pretty small corner. Will he be available? That's another question. And if he is available, that's going to be a high-priced contract right there. So PFF expects him to get franchise tag, so Carlton Davis may not be available. But if he is, the Vikings have to take a hard sniff at him. I believe he's only 25, 26 years old. He's 25 years old. So the Vikings definitely need to look at Carlton Davis if he is available. All right, PFF's fourth graded corner would be Hayward Jr. His 2021 PFF grade was 76.6. That put him at 13th out of 122 corners from last year. His problem is, again, a lot like Stefan Gilmore. He's old. He's 32 years old. He's probably going to be a one-year contract. Would they want to sign him for $6.5 million? I highly, highly doubt that. Again, we're looking to build for the future, especially on that side of the ball. And with all the changes that we're going to be doing, it doesn't make sense. PFF's number 5 ranked corner would be Darius Williams. His 2021 PFF grade was 59.0. That ranked him 84th out of 122 corners. That's really not that great, but when you look at him a little bit closer, he was the corner opposite Jalen Ramsey, and that would mean that he most likely got picked on a heck of a lot more than he should have. That being said, he's still ranked 84th out of 122. So that whole argument can go both ways. Yeah, he got picked on more because, well, you got Jalen Ramsey on the other side, but he ain't Jalen Ramsey, that's for sure. So I don't see the Vikings necessarily going with him. He is a 28-year-old corner, so his expected contract being 3 years, $40 million, that's just a little too expensive for what we'd be getting. We need a number 1, and that's obviously going to be way too expensive for any other position outside of a number 1 corner. So PFF's number 6 ranked corner, Steven Nelson. His 2021 PFF grade was a 62.9. That was 61st out of 122 corners. He played next to Darius Slay in Philadelphia last year. They expect his contract to be $14 million over the course of 2 years, $7 million a year. I mean, you're looking at a 29-year-old corner that didn't have the greatest year. I would not sit here and put stock into us signing Steven Nelson. That would just kind of be a waste of funds. And again, he's not a true number 1 corner. So moving on down past number 6. Number 7. So PFF's number 7th grade corner would be Charvarius Ward. I kind of like Charvarius. His 2021 PFF grade was a 67.8. That ranked him 36th out of 122 corners. He is young. That's what probably has that's what he's got going for him, is him being young. I believe he's like 25 years old. Yep, 25 years old. He's got good measurables. I mean, he's a decent-sized corner sitting at 6'1". What he does do well is tackling. I do remember a great Minnesota Vikings corner that was fantastic at tackling that we ended up getting in free agency a certain year, if anybody can remember that name. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Charvarius Ward is Antoine Winfield, but he does tackle very well, and if this might be the first corner that the Vikings actually look at. He's young enough to put a decent-sized contract so you can backload the contract. His projected contract's 3 years, $34.5 million. I do know that we had some issues with another previous Kansas City Chief corner, but we won't talk about that. We're going to skip over that. So either way, Charvarius Ward could get franchise tagged. I highly doubt that. The Kansas City Chiefs might not have the ability to pay him, so he might be a legit free agent when everything's said and done, and somebody that the Vikings may look towards. The 8th ranked PFF corner would be DJ Reed Jr. Another fantastic idea for a corner. DJ Reed Jr. played for the Seahawks last year. He's 5'9". He's only 25 years old. He was his 2021 PFF grade was 78.6. That ranked him 8th out of 122 corners. That's pretty freaking awesome. Outside of Charvarius Ward actually being available when it's all said and done, DJ Reed Jr. may, and that might be a big may, because considering the fact that his PFF grade ranked him 8th out of 122 corners, he had his best year last year, ranking at 78.6 overall. In any defense, you want your corners to be able to tackle. I mean, I honestly have a heck of a lot more respect for a corner that will sit there and throw his shoulder down into a running back's thigh. But either way, his projected contract is 3 years, $24 million, $8 million per year. To be honest with you, yeah, he's gotten better every year since he's been in the league. He may actually require a bigger contract than just an $8 million a year deal. But if that is the case, if the Vikings can get him for around $8 million a year, that is a freaking steal. I am super excited if we can get DJ Reed Jr. Let's move on down to the 9th best corner graded by PFF. Bryce Callahan. His 2021 PFF grade was a 60, 78th out of 122 corners. Callahan, I believe he is, he's 30 years old. Again, not another corner that we're going to end up even probably sniffing due to the fact that his age, he wasn't very good, not much better than Patrick Peterson's 58.1 grade or whatever it might have been last year. It might have been like 55. But either way, Bryce Callahan, might as well just skip over that. But and then the 10th corner for PFF would be Dante Jackson. His 2021 PFF grade was 61.3. That ranked him 71st out of 122 corners. Obviously, after you get from DJ Reed on down, the quality of corner dramatically reduces. So we're looking at Charvarius Ward or DJ Reed Jr. has got to be signed by the Vikings. Now, can we pay one of them? Will one of them want to come to Minnesota? That's a question. That's another question. So I'm hoping that we can pick up one of those two guys. What do you guys think? Leave your opinions in the comment section below. I want to hear from you. What should we do at cornerback this year in the free agency? Or should we just wait till the draft? I want to hear your opinions. If you like my opinions, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Shoot me your opinions in the comment section below. And until next time, Skol, my brothers and sisters.